Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, August 12th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First, a couple of clarification points. Number one, the price you see over here will still be moving around along with the candlestick right here. That is because the market is still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And next, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, we are looking at ticker symbol AMC, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the video yesterday, but I talked about the fact that this thing had broken up through that trend line. So the question going into today was, hey, is this the start of something bigger? Is there going to be more momentum? And we got our answer earlier on. That was absolutely the start of something bigger. So plenty of room right there to scalp, some momentum right there. But overall, just from assuming you care about more so a bigger picture, chart perspective, everything is still perfectly fine. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that line as it served its purpose for now. And now we'll map out the newest level of resistance that I think a lot of people will be watching. And that is right up here at the $26 mark right there, which you can see going back through short history here. Found some problems with it right there, and then once again this afternoon found some problems with it. But the good news here is that you got to think a lot of people are watching 26, and as I've said in past videos, and we'll probably say more in this video, when a lot of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So again, nothing is guaranteed, but is it rational, is it valid to think that if the price gets up to 26 and pushes up through it, that could create a whole nother surge of volume and momentum? That is absolutely a valid thought process to have. So let me extend this out here. And you can see that the price is once again knocking right on that $26 mark. So $26 is definitely going to be a level that a whole lot of people are watching. Next one here, TTOO, and this is no doubt about it, a very ugly looking chart right now, a very shaky looking chart when you stop to think that the price actually gapped right to there. Then after the open up, ran all the way up to that area, and then the true story being there were some poor souls that actually bought right there. And then after that has just been falling and falling and falling the rest of the day. However, for you longer time viewers, you probably know what I'm going to say next. Yes, this is ugly, but there can be opportunity in the ugly. And the situation here that I think a lot of people are potentially wondering about, because it's not some sort of groundbreaking idea, but it's right here at the 16-cent mark. And that's an important area because that is, first off, the previous area of resistance, and there's a foundational rule in charting which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, they tend to act as support. And that's also acting as essentially a gap close location. And then third, you also have the purple line right there where if you look closely, which is the 50-period moving average, which just happens to have moved its way right up to around that area. So if this thing can get a bit more ugly and come down to 16 cents, no guarantees, but is it valid? Is it plausible to think that 16 cents could create some sort of bounce off that level? Absolutely. So if you like to play these situations where you're trying to find that opportunity in some very ugly situations, this is certainly worth keeping an eye on. Next one here, DNA, and overall same general premise, which is why I wanted to put it where I did. So yes, this thing is no doubt about it looking ugly to think that at one point the price was all the way up here. And I think that there were some poor souls that were buying, and now the thing has come all the way back down to where it has. But under the same general framework of what we just talked about, when it comes to those areas of support and former breakout levels, you have an interesting area right down there at $3.30, which again, as a mirror image as it is, also happens to be where essentially not as quite as what we were just looking at with TTOO, but very similar. You have that 50-period moving average essentially right around that area. So I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on it and just repeat myself because you understand the general idea. If you like to play those situations where you're finding some opportunity in ugly, then yes, this chart is certainly looking relatively ugly, but it is approaching an interesting level down here at that area. So let's see if the price can indeed find some support and get a bounce. Next one, ticker symbol TMBR, and I like this one because there's a good solid pattern here that exists. So going back to the talking point of self-fulfilling prophecies, in no way I'm trying to imply this is some sort of great discovery on my part. In no way am I trying to imply this is some sort of great skill or anything like that. I assure you a lot of people have drawn this pattern. So let me get this drawn up here, change that to green to represent more so the bullish attribute. Then maybe make it easier to see. Let's just make this all the same color. So we have our resistance right here. We have our support right here. We have the huge momentum move right here. And then to make it that much more visual, let's put in our golf hole down here. And this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play bull pennants, if you like to play those, dynamics where you could potentially have a self-fulfilling prophecy, especially on penny stocks, because this is down below a 20-cent mark, then definitely keep a close eye on it. So no guarantees, but yeah, more than valid to think that the price can recover up to the top of the pattern and then get a break up through it, that break could very well create that much more upside buying pressure. So keep an eye on this pattern if you like penny stocks and bull pennant patterns. Next one, NVTA, and this has had some very, very crazy movement. I mean, yesterday, last 30 minutes went crazy. I know in the after hours went crazy. And then just a nasty gap down where the price opened up right there. Then it's essentially spent the rest of the day bleeding. But now we get into a matter, well, is this a bad or good looking chart? Completely a matter of perspective. Meaning if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, or whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, or maybe you bought after hours, or maybe you bought right there on the gap down, well then yeah, from that point of view, assuming you wanted to buy and sell within, several minutes or just an hour or so, then looks really, really bad. Now if you care about the big picture of things, I understand this has been a very, very large pullback, but from the grand scheme of it all, let me squeeze things down, you can still see that the price is still building and putting in those higher bases. So even if it is right now, and I'm not saying this will occur, but let's say it even comes down to $4, which is right there. Think about how high $4 is relative to where it was not that long ago. In other words, the trend would still be up. Again, a complete matter of perspective. I realize I sound crazy if you're a day trader and you bought right there. You definitely don't care about $4. But if you do care about the grand scheme of things, despite the carnage and the big pullback, there is still an overall opportunity to build a big picture uptrend. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can be used, how it should be used to help build consistency and why it is so powerful, then certainly get signed up for the free live training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. With that being said, because it is a live event, a couple of things here. Maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening. I have 5 kids. I understand. Life can be busy on such a short notice. Go ahead, drop me an email because a live event will be recorded, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the recording when it's all completed. Or maybe you're watching this Friday morning, for example, and you've just completely missed the event in and of itself. Once again, go ahead, drop me an email, and I would be happy to send you a link to the recording when it is all completed. So like I said, but if you can make it live, then certainly get signed up. So either get signed up or drop me an email. Next stock here, ticker symbol VERU, and I like this one because it's got just such a well-defined breakout point as a potential area where this thing might want to reverse back around and start picking up momentum once again, which sits right there at $16.50. So $16.50, which is just essentially the top part of this area of consolidation. So yeah, opening 30 minutes. Opening 30 minutes right there. Very, very strong. Came back down, so this is where things are starting to look shaky. Is this end of the road? But it did show signs of strength, and then pulled back here a little bit. So the question just becomes, can it recover back upwards? And if so, the secondary time, can it push up through there? And if it does, no guarantees, but it becomes more than valid conclusion to think, okay, that could create additional buying pressure and cause this price to get moving once again relatively quickly in the upwards direction, which this one proved, and has proved before in the past, can move and move relatively quickly. So if you like to play these setups where you have a surge in momentum, you have a pullback, and then you have a very well-defined potential reversal point, then I definitely keep a close eye on this one and right up around that 1650 mark. Next one, SDC, same general premise, which is why I wanted to put these back to back so I'm not sitting here repeating myself. So you have that big surge up, you have the pullback, and now you have, in my mind, a nice well-defined reversal point. Now, not a little different in the sense of this has got a downward slope to it, so you have a resistance trend line, but like I said, same overall general premise. You have that big move up, you have it pulled back, and now it's just a question of can this thing pick up enough momentum to once again push through that level. And the other difference being this is a stock that's down below $2. The other one, VERU, was a bit more expensive, but this one, same general premise, but just at a different price point down below $2. So if you like to play these situations where you get the surge, you get the consolidation, and then you're looking for some sort of breakout back to the upside, then I definitely keep a close eye on SDC. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and first thing I'm going to do is do a little house cleaning, and I want to extend this level down because I still think that this will have, I think it'll remain relevant moving into the future, not necessarily on Friday, but moving forward even in next week. I can see that trend line once again coming into play. So I just want to keep that, out there so, we can keep an eye on it, which is coming from up there on the chart. But let's more focus on these areas of support because now as the price is pulled back some more, there are some areas where if these levels fall, then yeah, doesn't mean the price is going to collapse, but you could definitely see it, leading some more downside pressure with the first key level of support being there at 855, and then after 855, that next key level of support being down there around the 840 mark, which I would consider that much more of an important level of support just because there's so much price history with this level right now. You can see both there and there getting tested, and to give credit where credit's due, holding strong. So if the price were to go down there and then break down below there, at that point I'd say that's a pretty big red flag in the sense of, okay, something's not quite right, something seems to be broken. But you also don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, because as of now the price hasn't even violated down below that level. But needless to say, these are going to be the three main technical levels that I'll be watching closely moving forward. Next one here, BNGO, and this is a mess up on my part. Totally should have put this at a different location because it's following the whole general idea of, I mean, check out how crazy actually Wednesday was. Wednesday, slow, 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 and then today price really exploded, but it's now pulled back, but at least it started to go sideways, which has now given us a very well-defined potential reversal point, an area to buy some sort of breakout, which sits right there at $3.60. So 360 is going to be that main level, although I will say that as I speak, and this will, again, like I said at the beginning, while I do these when the market's still open, a pretty rough final 30 minutes here. Price made the move up and then really got smacked down pretty hard. But again, it's not like the price got smacked down and then it ended up closing all the way down there. So I don't want to, come across as being overly dramatic. But yeah, a relatively disappointing attempt back in the upwards direction. But that also, lends itself to say, well, if the price can once again recover back upwards, get to that level and then break through it, then, there's just that much more, plausibility that could create upside buying pressure. So again, if you like to play a lower price range and you like to play these, potential turnaround stocks after big surges of momentum, keep an eye on BNGO and $3.60. Next one, NIO, and we have ourselves some very well-defined areas here. So from a trend line standpoint, want to get that level in place, because at the same time you also have another trend line which is coming down like that. So let me make that a little bit more proportionate. Change that to green to represent the support part of the pattern, and maybe you know where I'm headed with all this. But we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the momentum move right there. Let's put our golf ball down here, and we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. And NIO is definitely a very popular stock. A lot of people watching it, which just brings that much more credibility to the idea of self-fulfilling prophecies. And if this thing can get a good high volume break up through the top part of that pattern, that break in and of itself could create buying pressure, just because, hey, I'm a breakout player. Hey, NIO is breaking out. Hey, I'm supposed to buy right now. So like I said, that's a very valid thought process. If this thing does pull back that much more, then the level of support I'd keep a very close eye on is that purple line down there, the 50-period moving average. So keep an eye on that, and the value of that is down there right around $20.15. So if you like to play these bull pennants at a little bit higher price stocks, but more specifically very, very popular stocks such as NIO, then I definitely keep an eye on it. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can and should be used to to build consistency as a trader. I'm looking at the drawing tools right now as I'm trying to talk and say that, so that's why I said draw. But if you want more, like I said, details on how to properly use this tool and how it can be used to build consistency, then definitely get signed up. Like I said, Thursday, August 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But also, like I said, if you've already missed it because you're watching this Friday morning, or if you have something on your schedule already, then please drop me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be more than willing to send you a link to the recording. But again, you just got to let it actually happen, because it is a genuinely live event. So the event's got to happen. I'll get it recorded and uploaded, and then I will send you a link to it. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you'd like for me to continue to make these, do two things for me, please. Hit the like button, leave a simple comment. Those two things really do go a long way, and the comment can just be something as easy as saying hi, a ticker symbol that you're watching today. But hitting the like button, leaving a basic comment truly do help out and go a long way. So I thank you in advance for it. And like I said, hopefully I'll see you here live in just a few hours for the class. If not, go ahead and drop me an email.